Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into some really interesting, maybe unconventional ideas about water.
We are. We're looking at the concepts from Podcast Manus the Water Cleans Frequency.
Right, this idea that water might have its own frequency and that could actually, affect us.
Exactly. More than just a shoe for survival.
So our mission today is basically to unpack these claims, water memory, intention, well-being, all based on this source material.
Let's dive in. The source talks about water having a frequency. What exactly does that entail, according to them?
It seems to be this idea of an energetic quality, something you can supposedly perceive or feel. Though the how isn't super clear.
Yeah, it's more of a felt sense, perhaps, not something you'd measure with standard tools, maybe.
Okay, and that leads to this distinction they make between regular water and high-vibe water. What's the supposed difference there?
It seems mostly energetic. High vibe water, implied to be more beneficial, more vibrant, I guess.
Compared to regular water, which might be less so depending on how it's treated or sourced.
Precisely. Think treated tap water versus maybe fresh spring water, energetically speaking.
The source also prompts reflection on how water has changed people's lives, physically and spiritually. Any hints about what kind of changes they mean?
Well, physically, it could just be the known benefits of good hydration, feeling better.
Sure, that makes sense.
But spiritually, it hints at something deeper, maybe enhanced intuition, feeling more connected, possibly linked to setting intentions with water.
That intuition link is fascinating.
Mm.
How does the source connect hydration and, gut feelings?
The thinking seems to be, well, if your body's running well because it's hydrated, your mind is clearer, maybe more open to those subtle signals,
Right, linking the physical and the mental or intuitive capacity.
Exactly. Then there's this idea of water carrying energy between people. How does that supposedly work?
It's presented as water acting like a conduit, almost. Like you can absorb and transmit energy or intention. You see similar ideas in some energy healing practices.
But it's definitely a more subtle concept, outside typical scientific explanations of water's properties.
Okay, let's talk practical application. Using water in rituals for healing, setting intentions, what might that look like?
It could be simple things, really, like consciously blessing your water before you drink it, focusing positive thoughts on it.
Or using it symbolically, maybe in cleansing rituals.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Imbuing the water with your specific intentions, the key idea.
They also mention structured water. What's the deal with that?
Yes, structured water. The idea is that the water molecules form more organized hexagonal patterns.
Okay, and why is that seen as important?
Proponents believe this structure makes the water more easily absorbed by cells, or maybe that it holds energy better. It's not widely accepted in mainstream science, though.
Gotcha. The source also connects water to mood, skin, energy, clarity, things we know, hydration effects. Are they suggesting something more profound than just being hydrated?
It seems that way, yeah. Like the energetic quality or frequency of the water itself, beyond just volume, could have a bigger impact on those aspects.
And specific types like Kangen water or spring water are mentioned. How do they fit into this vibration concept?
They're often framed as being more alive or natural, right? So the vibration likely refers to this perceived higher energetic quality compared to, say, heavily filtered or processed tap water.
Makes sense within that framework. Now, the AI prompts mentioned in the source bring up water memory and emotion. That's a pretty contentious idea.
It is. The source appears to explore the notion that water can somehow retain imprints like information or energy, maybe even from emotions it's exposed to. Think of Emoto's work, though. That's debated.
Highly debated, yeah. And what about a hydration influencing cellular communication? Water's obviously crucial for cells, but communication specifically.
Well, all cellular processes happen in water, so the suggestion perhaps is that if the water is optimally structured or high vibe, it might facilitate more efficient signaling between cells.
Interesting. The source also touches on water and consciousness. That sounds big.
It does. It seems to hint at a deeper relationship, maybe that water isn't just the medium for life, but somehow intrinsically linked to consciousness itself, both individually and maybe collectively.
Which ties into what you find in many spiritual traditions, doesn't it? The idea of sacred water.
Absolutely. So many cultures revere specific water sources, use water in purification, blessings. It points to a long-held belief in water having special, maybe spiritual properties.
The prompts also mention scientific perspectives on water responding to sound or intention. Is there anything solid there?
There have been studies like the water crystal experiments looking at responses to words or music, but they faced significant criticism regarding methodology, reproducibility. It's not settled science by any means.
Right. Important context. Finally, this difference between living and processed water. How are they likely defining those?
Living water probably means water from natural flowing sources like springs, believed to retain its, quote, natural energy.
In process.
That would likely be municipal tap water, bottled water that's been heavily filtered, treated, maybe energetically altered or depleted in their view.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the core idea we've explored here is that water might be more than just a molecule for hydration.
Yeah, the central theme is this possibility that water is somehow responsive, that it might listen to intention or energy.
And it definitely makes you pause and think about the water that makes up, what, 60–70% of us?
Yeah.
And our own sense of flow or well-being.
It really does. It brings up a question for you listening. If you entertain these ideas, even just hypothetically, how might that change how you interact with water every day?
Something interesting to ponder. For now, stay hydrated, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.